Welcome one, welcome all to the podcast that shines the light on athletes past, future, and present. This is their story. This is 2020 Vision. Hello and welcome to episode 18 of 2020 Vision. On this week's episode, we speak to Mitchell Cooper. We focus on his past, present, and future. We talk to him about his college experience and what's coming up next year for him, hopefully that 2020 Olympic berth. Here is my chat with Mitchell Cooper. Can you tell me how you began as a thrower, mate?
Pretty much was school, so the school athletics carnival in grade 5. Won the athletics carnival, throwing out of the hula hoop on the grass. Went to districts, won that one, and I think after districts, Dad was like, "Oh, well, I did a bit of discus in high school, and why don't we do some training?" He started to coach me a bit, started to look some stuff up online, coached me through, and then a couple months later, I won nationals and threw the national record as a 10-year-old, like 43 metres. So I went from 18 metres to 43 metres in 3 months, I think.
That's amazing. So what did you do in regards to changing that then? So that's a big jump from 18 to 43.
Well, that's it. It was more. I'd never done any athletics before in my life. I was always a sportsman, so I did rugby and swimming and tennis and bits of cricket and pretty much anything that was going. Athletics never occurred to me. I never did little A's when I was super young. And yeah, school carnival was just doing it because I was the biggest kid in the class, and they thought I should throw something, so I did. And it just kind of went from there. It was kind of one of those things where, if I was sick that day, maybe I wouldn't have gotten into throwing. It's one of those funny things. Yeah, you never know, do you, unless you try. So how have you gone in regards to success then, mate? Obviously, that 43 metres gave you a national record. What went on from there? It was funny. I think for the next probably two years or so, I did it more as, not a hobby, but it was like a side sport. I was very much into team sports at the time, especially rugby. And it was just something I trained maybe once a week with Dad, or twice a week maybe. It was just something I always did. And I was, like, the first 2 years I was just natural. Like, I think I won in grade 6 as well. I won nationals that year. Just because I was big. And then the next year, in year 7, I came 5th or something. And that's kind of when I was like, okay, maybe I should actually put more effort in and take it more serious. So I guess that was kind of where I, those hard lessons of, if you want to actually achieve something, you've got to put the effort in, fully. So I guess that was kind of like the drive that started. Yeah, so when we have athletics, it's more of a solo sport in a sense, isn't it? Do you mind talking to me about your rugby and kind of how you used what you learnt there in regards to what you do now? It was definitely an interesting change for me because I played rugby from when I was 4 to when I was 16, so I did it for 12 years. It was very much you're as fast as your slowest man. You never leave a guy behind. Every training session was about doing stuff together. And then, especially, for most of my career, I've kind of trained alone. I've never really been I've gone and trained with squads. But apart from my time when I was at the University of Kansas, I didn't have a training squad. Not a full time, but anyway. So it was a big change for me to learn to self-analyze and very much drive myself instead of, when you're in the team, it's very much, I better not let my mates down because, if I don't put the effort in, then, I'll let the guy in score the try, but that's on me, and everyone's going to, be pretty upset. But when you're throwing, it's all, or in athletics, I guess it's, it's all on yourself. If you don't put the effort in, the only person to blame is yourself. Yeah, so you spoke about the fact that you came 5th, and that kind of drove you to continue on. What was the feeling process when you had that? Because obviously we do want to play, so we want to get that 3rd, 2nd, or 1st. What was the thought process like then in order to change yourself? I think that like it was pretty. I think what it was like 12 at the time. So yeah, pretty young still, and important. I think I say this to a lot of the kids I coach and the parents that I work with at the moment. I think competition is very, very important in development of all, well, not just athletes, but just people in general. Usually loss, or not doing, not achieving is sometimes much more important than actually achieving. That, I don't know, I felt disappointed and kind of, it's hard to think back to the exact kind
Yeah, I know, I understand, mate.
feelings, but it was definitely a pain and a very unpleasant kind of feeling that I probably could have done much better, but I did because I didn't put the effort in. It was very much something I could trace back to.
Mm.
I could be better. I know I can be, and I just didn't.
So it's the stuff that kind of fuels you in a sense. Can we go to now? Oh, well, not now as such, but after that, you've gone and you said, okay, athletics is my thing now. What did we do in order to make yourself go that extra step?
Back when I decided that I needed to train more permanently, we started going to more. We started reaching out, trying to learn more about the technique. Dad did more coaching courses and things. I believe that was around the time we reached out. I think Ben was doing a training camp, or he did a course at UQ, and we just went along, and then we learned some stuff, had a chat with him. He's like, oh, if you're ever in Melbourne, come down and throw with us with Gus Popolo at Ringwood and meet the squad. And I think eventually we went down and did that kind of thing, and kind of got like a taste of that next level and more into the community of the throws community, and that was kind of like that first step.
So you've mentioned a name there, Ben Harradine. Let's talk about him for a bit. I've had the privilege of interviewing him before. How much of an influence was he on you?
Oh, massive, really. Well, both the Harradines for that matter. Ken as well. I've been lucky enough to have Ben as a mentor for many years, and even his father was my coach for quite a few years as well. It's kind of, I don't know if I could properly put into words the amount, like how much they've been able to help me and my father, who's currently coaching me, step forward, just move forward in the sport from technical advice to actual psych advice and actual being up there, getting advice from someone who's actually been on the world stage and had those ups and downs, and because I've definitely had those. It's invaluable. They're both just awesome blokes. So I don't know. I can't speak highly enough of them.
No, when you're lost for words speaking about someone, that's the right thing then.
Yeah, no, definitely.
All right, let's continue on. So you had your help from Ben there through the things that you went to with him. What did you then go on and do? Pretty much went through, started training with, I lived up here. Ken became my coach. He lived down in Newcastle, so Dad was kind of running Ken's program, and we were sending videos and doing all that kind of thing. Kind of progressed for a while. Went to first World Juniors in 2012 and things like that, and that went really well. And then I went to college. Essentially, that was probably the next big step. I've just finished doing all that. Just finished. I was a year and a bit ago, but I think my time at college was a big. I wanted it to be a stepping stone into my career, and it definitely was an excellent time, and I was very lucky where I went. University of Kansas there with Coach Kokonowski as my first coach, who understood what I wanted to do and was able to also assist in mentoring me and kind of guiding me he knew where I wanted to go, and he was able to kind of steer me right, especially with my thought processes and my technique. And then since I've been back, it's been a bit. I haven't quite continued my upward trend, I guess is the way to say it, as much as I would have liked. This season especially has been a bit rough. Training's been good. Strength, technique, everything like that's been really good, but it's just not clicking in the ring, so distances have kind of been a bit down. But having said that,
looking at how the ranking scheme for next year is working, I'm actually placed pretty well for that. So, pretty keen for next year, and seeing how knowing what meets to go to and what distances I'll need to throw for Tokyo.
That's good, mate. So when we were talking about Ben, you mentioned how he went through some ups and downs as well as yourself. Do you mind speaking about the down sort of part and how you push yourself through that?
Yeah, it's one of those things. Yeah, it's not the easiest to look back on. Just from you kind of move past and you try not to look back too much. It's nothing too major. I think most athletes have those moments or times when they're things just aren't working. You're putting in, you're sacrificing. You're exhausted. You're putting everything you've got in, and it's just not happening. And that's, I think, beyond frustrating is probably the best way to put it. And especially when you've got, I'm very fortunate with the support I get, and from my family and my loved ones, and I couldn't do anything like what I'm doing right now without them. And I feel like I'm letting them down if I'm not performing. So I feel like they're not pressuring me, but I feel like there is an inherent pressure there to perform. So when things aren't going well, it just kind of builds up. So I think that's definitely some of the downs, but you just got to keep going because you will come out of it. It's almost not blind hope, but it kind of feels like that at times.
No, you got to keep telling yourself to keep pushing forward. What do you do in order to make yourself feel good, mate? Like, is it listening to music, watching Netflix? What do we do?
I've got a few different ones. One of the ones I used to love, I still love doing, just haven't been able to do it. Shooting hoops. Just taking, maybe listen to some music and just shooting some baskets. Doing stuff like that. It's been a bit tricky. We've just finished. We're still in the process of it, but we've just finished building a granny flat essentially at home. So me and the fiance have moved into that, paying rent and such.
Yeah.
And it's only just being finished, so we haven't really. Everything's kind of a mess outside, so we haven't been able to do that for a while. So things got a bit rough, and that's just an outlet I've always had. But anything like that. I also like I've got into messing with computers, doing stuff like that. Outlets are definitely an important thing. Something that's away from what you're spending most of your time doing.
So you mentioned shooting hoops there, mate. I've got to ask the question: are you a basketball fan, and if so, what team?
It's funny. I'm not a massive basketball fan. I know it's probably a bad thing to say. I'm definitely a big college basketball fan. Rob Chalk, go KU. But
yeah, okay.
It's if you want to get college basketball, you can't get a much better school than Kansas. I follow players and that nowadays, not necessarily teams. Again, in college I got into a lot of American sports, but I'm probably more football and baseball than I am basketball. Well, professionally anyway.
No, that's all right, mate. I've backed to Syracuse for the last 7 years, and it's done nothing for me. So,
that's rough.
Yeah. No, it's because I've got orange hair, and I was like, hey, they're orange. Let's go for that.
Their football team's doing right.
Yeah, it's not too bad. See, this is the sort of stuff that we need to be focusing on. The chatting about sports and all that sort of stuff. I've realised that with athletes, when they focus on something else that isn't their sport, there's a lot more positivity that comes out, and we don't have that kind of heartbreak. Well, unless you're following a pretty poor team like Syracuse.
Yeah, I don't know about heartbreak, mate. Origin was pretty heartbreaking last week, so...
Your rugby as well. We could talk for hours, mate. So what's your next step in regards to athletics then? We've talked about the fact that you're struggling a bit in the ring, but we know that next year you're going to be kicking goals in regards to the throws. So is that... What competitions are you going to look at then?
Me and the coach, we're still discussing this season, but I think we're probably not pulling the plug, but we're probably pretty close to the end of this one. Not looking good for world champs this year. However, that really wasn't the goal. Next year's obviously much more important. In terms of competitions, I just came off Oceanias. Did pretty well there. I didn't get the distance I wanted, but I got the points, which at this stage is much more important. I think next year is just about we're looking probably pretty hard at the domestic season. Queensland track. I haven't looked at. They haven't really announced it, but it looks like they'll probably have discus again. Or hopefully they will. State champs, nationals. Then a couple of the other domestic meets that will have throws. And by the looks of things, as long as I throw, well, definitely if I throw better than I did this year and I place all right at those meets, the points should be more than enough to qual for next year. So, that whole ranking thing, the whole ranking scheme was definitely a big concern of ours, but having looked at it now, looks like we might be in this little spot where it works out perfectly for us. There's just enough points meets for us, and everyone else who's throwing around the same distance don't have any points meets. So
Yeah, the IAAF definitely do like to make us think, don't they?
well, yeah, it's all hypothetical, and until it happens, and then Anyway, but the fact that it's benefiting us and it's not helping Americans or Europeans, I don't think it's going to last long.
That's all right. We'll see how it goes, mate.
They don't usually like that, but we'll see.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I thank you very much for joining me today for a chat, and I wish you the best of luck next year. And you sound like a top bloke, and if it doesn't go your way in the sense of that, I can sense coaching definitely in your future, and hopefully we can see you on that stage at Tokyo, because that is the end goal. Am I correct?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, that's been the dream forever. Olympic team.
All right. Well, when you get that medal at Tokyo, we'll have another chat.
Yes. All right. Definitely, sure. Definitely.
There we have Mitchell Cooper, a guy with a dream and aspirations that I know will come true one day. You can hear it in his voice, the way that he speaks. He's definitely got a talent, and he's definitely got the drive that will hopefully see him compete at the Tokyo 2020 Olympics and compete further on in his life and achieve great things. I thank you very much for joining me on episode 18 of 2020 Vision. Join me next week. Who knows who we're going to get. For more of a look at our athletes that we feature on episodes, go to our Facebook page, 2020 Vision Podcast, where you will find all information on our episodes as well as what's happening next week. This is 2020 Vision.